You want me to put that on my todger?
This One's Wife, The Big Losers. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry and This One's Wife are a pair of losers. She particularly is an abject loser. Let's hear you all chant, loser, 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 loser. A dollop of challenge fuel there for This One's Wife. She believes that she is a winner. She believes herself to be supreme champion of empathic niceness, an angel of mercy. She regards herself as a huge success. On the one hand, you might see that she has certainly been successful in turning herself into one of the most well-known women on the planet. But she's not well known for her works. She's well known for being This One's Wife, and thereafter she's well known because people don't like her. She's certainly made a lot of money, but she's also spending it very quickly on PR puff pieces, security costs, etc., and it won't be too long before she runs out of it, unless she's able to bag some other hapless individual who happens to be wealthy. Thus, she got the fame, or perhaps the infamy. She obtained the wealth, although it's going to be short-lived. But beyond that, would you say that she's a winner? Well, you wouldn't say she was a winner for those things, because she's been ridiculed and she only achieved them as a consequence of the person that she married. She's not the strong, independent feminist that she proclaims to be, but of course, that's the delusion of her narcissism. In actual fact, she's become a loser. Everything that she gets involved in turns to shit, the Sadim touch. She's roundly ridiculed, South Park, Chris Rock, Family Guy. She's derided on social media by millions of people. Her supporters are diminishing. The A-listers don't want to know her. Brands and cosmetic giants aren't interested. It all smells of Loserville. And Harry's getting dragged down by it all. Having saddled himself to this particular individual, he's dying on that hill of Loserville with her. The problem is that so many things that they do fail are seen as grifting because people don't like them, and therefore people won't give them a break, won't give them a chance any longer. That time has passed. Even where there might be something that's borderline debatable as to whether it's loserish, people interpret it as loserish because they simply don't like the pair of them. But the problem is exacerbated because all of their failures are collectively scrutinized and watched by millions of fact-checkers and, of course, mainstream media, who readily scoops up all of their repeating failings and regurgitates them, ensuring that there is a tsunami of loser-like behaviour directed towards them. Hilary Rose in The Times engages in this, providing more challenge fuel to This One's Wife, as she explains, Christmas is coming, the Sky Monty shit show is blue, and the latest issue of The Hollywood Reporter will make some people choke on their turkey. Running down its list of the year's biggest losers, the industry Bible alights on the couple once known as their Royal Highnesses, and now struggling to become known as anything else. In 2020, it reads, the royal duo fled a life of ceremonial public service to cash in their celebrity status in the States. But after a whiny Netflix documentary, a whiny biography, spare, even the title is a pouty gripe, and inert podcast, the Harry and This One's Wife brand swelled into a sanctimonious bubble just begging to be popped. South Park duly punctured that bubble with a savage 20-minute takedown of the Sussexes' worldwide privacy tour. This was followed, the magazine continued, by Spotify dropping Archetypes, a series of podcasts so bad that inert could almost count as a compliment. Rallying itself for one final kick, the reporter notes the scorn and mockery with which the Sussexes' endeavours have generally been greeted. Oh dear. The couple affect neither to read nor care what is written about them, which actually is wrong, because she does care. She takes notice, because her narcissism drives her to do so. But the verdict of the Hollywood Reporter, the magazine of this one's wife's industry, in this one's wife's hometown, will be hard for them to miss. It's 4 years next month since Megxit, with all its soundbites and fury. 4 years since they slapped back at Queen Elizabeth and said everyone could live a life of service. Yet today, the word that springs to mind isn't service, but hubris. Has Hollywood fallen out of love with this one's wife and Harry? We will start by following the money, or rather the place where the money should be, which is in the coffers of the Archwell Foundation. Except there isn't any, or at least not much. Donations to the couple's charitable arm have plummeted by £8.7 million in the past year to only £1.6 million, which was itself from only 2 people. Who, I wonder? Andrew and Fergie, William and Kate, who gave about $1 million each. The couple have, however, released a slick 1-minute video about Archwell's impact in 2023, an impact that seems mainly to be measured in smoky eye makeup and group hugs. Pausing there, you'll notice that, just like so many other people, Hilary Rose looks at the video and immediately ridicules it. Whatever they do is going to be met with scorn, because they're simply viewed as a pair of clowns. Then there's the business end of things. Over the summer, the LA Times reported that big money, big name deals with people who have no experience have fallen out of fashion among some executives as media and entertainment companies rethink how they spend their resources. There is, they quoted a former big cheese at YouTube saying, a lot of belt-tightening right now, while an entertainment lawyer added that there will always be a demand, a premium paid for talent that can deliver, especially if someone has an established track record. Ouch. Pausing there, as you know, this one's wife has no talent and doesn't have an established track record. No premium will be paid for her. They face daunting challenges in balancing personal aspirations, public expectations and Hollywood demands, believes the leading reputational PR guru Mark Borkowski, and will need the support of some of the most powerful figures in Hollywood. So far as wannabe producers with an £80 million Netflix deal, Harry and this one's wife have produced very little. The Netflix documentary about them was a year ago. Heart of Invictus was well received, but is now over. Netflix paid out another £3 million for the film rights to a book they say they're turning into a rom-com. But who knows when that might see the light of day. Harry's ideas for podcasts included interviewing Vladimir Putin, the Pope, about childhood trauma. The silence from Spotify commissioning editors must have been deafening. Then, no sooner had South Park dismissed them as a dumb prince and his stupid wife, than he arrived on his own in the United Kingdom for his father's coronation, to find himself seated in Siberia at the start of an entire summer out in the cold. Spotify ended its deal with the couple after reportedly being underwhelmed with their output, prompting Bill Simmons, a Spotify executive, to launch into a furious rant calling them fucking grifters. The chief executive of the United Talent Agency, Jeremy Zimmer, also weighed in. Turns out this one's wife was not a great audio talent, he said, or necessarily any kind of talent. Just because you're famous doesn't make you great at something. Even some of the couple's employees were unimpressed. The Wall Street Journal quoted one as saying that the company often lacks direction and its founders at times seem surprised by the work required to finish entertainment projects. Lazy, useless losers. In Hollywood, finishing entertainment projects is the whole point. For Harry and this one's wife, though, the point of being there was that it wasn't here. Earning a living was incidental. All in all, it must have gone down like a lead balloon that in August a Gallup survey resulted in Prince William being voted America's most popular public figure. And for all this one's wife and Harry's complaints about the advice and support they receive from courtiers, their advice since has been terrible. Remember this one's wife cold-calling senators to hector them about maternity rights? Whose idea was that? A duchess married to a prince lecturing elected representatives in the land of the free? According to the celebrity publicist Mitchell Jackson, the couple's reputation was harmed even more by their excitable talk of being chased by paparazzi through rush hour Manhattan. People just feel like they're untrustworthy and melodramatic and it's just going to revolve around them and they will distract from what they're trying to promote, he said, adding, You can't be self-important and last long in America. Or, as Bukowski says, the ongoing scrutiny surrounding the Sussexes isn't beneficial. It's a black hole. In Tinseltown, negativity isn't embraced. Paula Froelich, an American producer, told the Times newspaper in August, "What people are nervous about is financially they don't want to take a hit because they're seen as friends with Harry and this one's wife. Because everyone in LA has a movie they want to premiere in London or a play they want to take to the West End, and the biggest draw in London is William and Kate. If they show up, which is not often, it gets a lot of attention. It gets international attention. It's reprinted all over the world. Nobody wants to be seen to be taking sides, and nobody wants to be seen as friends of Harry and this one's wife, because it's then felt that Kate and William will likely not show up." When it came to the Duke of Westminster's wedding next summer, the issue wasn't whether William and Kate would show up, or indeed the King and Queen, who are all invited, but Harry and this one's wife. The Duke is one of the few to remain friendly with both brothers, but initial reports suggesting that Harry and this one's wife had not been invited. Cue an insider calling Page 6 to say that they in fact received a save the date, but turned it down to avoid awkward encounters with his family. Then there's the fallout from Bell Endgame, the latest book by the Sussexes' favoured biographer, the improbably named plastic-faced Weasley Lickspittle Lieutenant Omid Scobie, who after much toing and froing was forced to retract a denial that he'd submitted an early draft of the manuscript to his publisher, naming the racist royals as the King and Kate. The ensuing acrimony and chaos harmed no one as much as the Sussexes themselves, with the New York Post reporting that this one's wife's new agency, William Morris, has been horrified by the potential damage done to its attempts to rebrand her. The royal family said it was considering all options, including legal action, before letting the claims die of natural causes. Perhaps someone reminded them that in March, America's most prominent black stand-up comedian Chris Rock had debunked them. In a comedy special on Netflix, he took this one's wife on over her comments to Oprah about the royal who raised concerns about the colour of Archie's skin. "It's just in-law shit," he said. "Oprah, they're so racist they wanted to know how brown the baby was going to be." I'm like, that's not racist, because even black people want to know how brown the baby's going to be. As Bukowski says, the firm's strategy of remaining tight-lipped sidesteps any engagement, which is proving to be a winning strategy. Then there's the social aspect of building a successful life in Los Angeles. As one local puts it, LA is a town where business and socializing go together, and with that, an expectation of discretion. Brand Sussex has become famous for many things, but discretion is not one. In Spare, Harry went further, detailing a party he attended at Courtney Cox's house. They're never seen in public anymore with the Clooneys or the Obamas or even the Beckhams. Serena Williams was one of this once wife big-name draws at a baby shower for Archie, before Megxit, but Williams appears not to have returned the favour with an invitation to her recent baby shower. Even Harry's own ghostwriter has written in The New Yorker about Harry's struggle to realise that a memoir isn't about you, and how his favourite film is Moana, in particular the scene where a silly chicken gets lost at sea. So what next? This one's wife has in the past issued a thinly veiled threat that she kept a diary while she was in England, so an autobiography would be the obvious card to play. But the beastly royal stories are presumably now exhausted, and the rest of her pre-royal life has been told many times before. The Sussexes don't have the intellectual heft of the Obamas or the star power of the Clooneys. Their star power was only ever theirs by association, lent by the royals. Transitioning into a new sphere of influence and fame was never going to be as smooth as expected, Bukowski says. Their ability to generate wealth and sustain their brand has faced numerous obstacles. Show business is attracted to success and financial gains. Turkeys are only acceptable for Thanksgiving. There's speculation that the industry might be growing weary of their presence. An interviewer for The Cut magazine described this one's wife sitting in a sun-dappled paradise, burning rose-scented candles, talking about how, above all, love wins. Maybe so, but in Hollywood money talks. In future, the Sussexes might struggle to make it. A comprehensive run-through of many, but not all, of the aspects of this one's wife and why she is such an abject loser. Time and time again, driven by her narcissism causing her to be self-centered and having no regard to the collateral consequences, you can see how she has fucked up. And the downward spiral that I told you about and predicted many moons ago continues. They've been abandoned by the A-listers. There are no deals coming from cosmetic giants or fashion houses. People don't want to be seen or associated with them. The only thing that this one's wife can do is turn up in parking lots for pap walks. She has no talent. She has no charisma. Harry has foregone the very thing that defined him by being dragged away from the royal family. It's certainly not looking good for the Sussexes, and it's quite clear that they are really a pair of big losers. This is horrific news for a narcissist to be labelled as such. She doesn't believe that she is, and her narcissism won't allow her to accept it. But at the end of the day, it's not what she thinks about herself that matters, but what the people holding the purse strings think, and they ain't opening them for a pair of big losers. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.